What's up and welcome to Drive Central, a central place where people convene to find out what's happening right here on Drive for the week. Yes, I'm not Michael Spinelli, I'm Derek D, host of Fast Lane Daily, and we are currently on vacation, so I figured I'd stop by and substitute for the day. So remember to subscribe right here on YouTube, follow on Twitter, that's at Drive, and friend the shit out of Drive on Facebook. Also subscribe to my show, that's Fast Lane Daily, but only if you want the best automotive news on the planet, done with a little more fun than most. That's every day, daily. All right, let's begin. This week on Tuned, good old Matt Farah frolics around with a Hennessey ZL1 and then drag races it against a CTS-V. You shall have a sneak peek now. That's Tuned every Monday right here on Drive. Now, over to Alex Roy and Live and Let Drive. Alex heads over to Morgan and drives a three-wheeler, and I'm not talking about a big wheel, although I do think that episode would be just as fun. Maybe we could gather up all the hosts and have a big wheel race. What do you think, JF?
Sure.
Let's do it, I'm serious. Anyway, take a look.
Almost 10 years ago, I visited Morgan for the first time, and Charles Morgan, whom I just met, gave me a tour. And most people think of Morgan Motor Cars as being a kit car company. They are not. But when you say that they're a modern company, well, it's hard to believe from what you see. What appear to be sheds, a few brick buildings, a barn, and then in the back of the property, there actually was a shed. And then Morgan took me inside and told me that I could not tell anyone what I saw. And underneath, literally, a tarp was a small wooden hand-carved model of a car that became the Aeromax.
That is Live and Let Drive Tuesdays right here on Drive. Let's head across the pond and hang out with Chris Harris. That is Chris Harris on calls every Wednesday. And this week on Jalopnik on Drive, we visit the largest private racetrack in the world, and it's in some guy's front yard in upstate New York. Yeah, seriously, have a look. That is Jalopnik on Drive every Thursday right here. And also, if you haven't noticed, Drive's host competition is currently underway. Drive hosts compete for the most views on their Cadillac CTS-V videos. Let's check out a clip of their how to get the most view tactics at work. Roll it.
Okay, so the host competition is quite simple. Each of you get a CTS-V and you have a 2-minute video you need to produce. Each video gets uploaded at the exact same time, and the most views after 1 week wins, okay? Now, there are some rules. No animal cruelty, no violence, no nudity, and no SEO tricks and tactics.
What about violence against nude animals with proper keywords?
That's a very valid point, actually. Why can't you do that?
It beats me.
These are the rules.
Okay, we've got to have equality to start with. Why has he got a muffler like that, and I've got one of these things here that makes me look like I've got something growing out of my chest?
I have one too, but
I don't like
this is
that at
actually
all.
chest hair in my case.
Leo's SEO is going to say wearing red shoes.
You can just tag his Joe Pesci, My Cousin Vinny, Goodfellas.
This is what I'm saying. You can't do that.
I
You can't
predict
tag-
that Chris Harris will not win this competition.
Why do you say that?
Because he hasn't cheated.
Well, and I predict
Because
Alex.
he's turned up in the spirit of the game. I've flown across a large expanse of water to do this the right
big
way,
pond, yeah.
and I'm beginning to suspect that people around me are not treating it in the same spirit, and I think that's disappointing. And I think you've let yourself down.
I think I'm going to make the most heroic move of all time. I'm going to complete my entire video without driving the car.
Well, that's fantastic. Cadillac, they're going to be over the moon, aren't they?
I'm going to get the most views because I am going to crash my car into that wall, and nothing sells like car crashes.
Unfair advantage in SEO.
Sorry, obviously, being American, you're going to walk away now and be selfish, but I'd say may the best man win.
Oh, it's going to be like that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's limeys.
You dress like a gentleman.
Sportsman-like.
Of course, when I walk away, I'll stab you in the back.
Chris, how does it feel to not be the shortest one on camera?
Looks like it's going to be pretty interesting. Make sure you watch the episodes. The competition ends this Thursday. Although I think if I was in this What Host Gets the Most Views challenge, I think I'd Derek destroy everybody. Right? All right, I'm just saying. Anyway, that is airing. Okay, thank you. Anyway, that is airing until Thursday. And of course, you can watch it anytime you want after that. Okay? And you may think the Mars rover is cool, but what would be cooler is if NASA dropped down something for it to race against. Do not miss the best motorsports insights in the entire universe with Eugene Levy. Leo Parente. That's on Shakedown every Monday and Friday right here on Drive. Well, that's it for Drive Central this week. Watch me, Derek D, on Fastlane Daily every day. We'll be back from vacation in a few weeks. In the meantime, buckle up, drive safe, and always, cops tails. Come on. Oh yeah, follow Drive, like Drive. Hey.